Okay, so I have to start out with a big shout out to Smooth Eenie, the ghetto Houdini. He's like my favorite of this entire season, and it's going to be really hard to top him. I thought he was awesome, but we'll talk more about what exactly I thought about his act a little bit later on in this video. But first, let's start out with the first act. It was the Kamikaze Fireflies, and they really got Nick involved in their act, and they were juggling fire, and I thought they were pretty cool, and the judges liked them too, and I thought they would make a great act for Vegas. Up next, we had Hannah and Savannah, who were contemporary jazz dancers, and they kind of tricked us a little bit because we thought there were just two of them, and I did really like their crazy black and white geometric outfits, which ended up matching the background. But once they got on the stage, they brought out all kinds of people, so it was like a dance troupe. I thought it was pretty unique and really interesting, and the judges also agreed with me. Let's talk about comedians. I love comedians, but the bad part about it for me is that I rarely think comedians are super funny. I mean, not everyone can be Dave Chappelle and Daniel Tosh, two of my faves. So when Jody comes out there, I'm like, I don't know, woman. I mean, you've got a lot to live up to because there just aren't a lot of super funny comedians. So her skit about men being cats and women being dogs made me laugh. I thought it was very clever. I loved how she talked to the audience. She was very natural and conversational. And even Howie, a fellow comedian, thought she was good. So Jody, if you don't make it as the winner of AGT, then you at least need to be making it as where you can buy your own groceries. Like Howie said, you should be getting paid full time for comedy because you're good and you made me laugh. Bob comes out, he's 77 years old, and he's had 3 wives, and I think all 3 used to be working with him. So he looks awesome for 77, and Hallie's kind of giving him a hard time, saying, you know, will he make it to the next auditions? And his act is really good too. He is shooting arrows at balloons and actually disrobing his assistant. He's really good. The audience was like holding its breath, and I could totally see that act in Vegas. Plus, Bob has a really good personality, and he gets along well with the audience, and I really liked it. So Anna is a singer who has had a lot of difficulties. She suffers from anxiety and depression, so it was a huge deal for her to try out for America's Got Talent and sing in front of millions of people. Turns out she's really talented. She sang one of my favorite songs by the late Jeff Buckley, Hallelujah. She also plays guitar, and it was beautiful. And Howie could really relate to this because, as most of us know, he also suffers from an anxiety disorder, which is OCD. So he, gave her props for getting up there and even went up on stage and hugged her. And I thought that was a really sweet moment of the show. So I love animal acts, and I was so excited to see some of them in this episode. And if I had not met Smoothini later in the show, then Mudslinger, you totally would have been my fave of the night. So Mudslinger is a pig, and he did some really cool tricks like playing soccer and even kissing Heidi. And I just thought he was super sweet, and I'm just a sucker for cute animal tricks. So Mudslinger, you rock, and you definitely got my vote. Another dance troupe which was really unique, the girls in a relatively large group came out with a fan, and they did some really cool things with their individual fans. It was just a really beautiful dance which the judges all liked, and I thought it was super unique. So we had diverse, not so unique, and not so super. 2 guys from Jersey who look like a bad boy band. Yeah, some boy band singers who couldn't sing because sadly they couldn't. And actually, I don't even think they would have made the cut for the on television AGT auditions if Mel B hadn't had a little accident. Well, you see, Mel B forgot to turn the buzzers back on when she was unplugging them to charge up her phone. Therefore, when all the judges were trying to furiously pound on the buzzer to get rid of diverse, it was not working. So the whole thing was pretty comical, and the diverse guys took it pretty well. So that made it funny. So out comes this guy in a baby suit, grown guy in a baby suit with the baby hat and everything, and you're all thinking, yeah, he's gonna be terrible. I mean, even the judges were thinking that. But then he belts out Midnight Train to Georgia, and he's pretty awesome. So I hope when I see you next time, Mr. Midnight Train to Georgia and Overgrown Baby, that you won't need the crazy antics because you have an awesome voice. Sons of Serendip came out singing one of my favorite songs ever from the band Keen, and it is Somewhere Only We Know, except they had a new take on it, and they were playing cool instruments like the harp. The guy who was the lead singer had a really cool sound to his voice, and overall they were awesome and unique, and I would love to hear them do other songs, so big thumbs up to Sons of Serendip. I have to really commend Andre, who's from the Ukraine. How amazing is he? Because he was a hand balancer and he had some crazy upper body strength, and he super impressed the judges with his handstands and his contortionism. I mean, he was bending like a pretzel, and how he was like, you, out of all the people we've seen this season, you have what it takes to win it all. Do I necessarily agree with Howie? Maybe not, but I do think that we'll see more of Andre in the future. Why couldn't Howie say that to my fave of the whole season, Smoothini, the ghetto Houdini? How cool was this guy? I mean, most magicians are at a distance when we see them, so their acts look cool, but the little things that they're doing behind the scenes we really can't see. So Smoothini was right on top of the judges, and he was like pouring salt into his hand, and then it was gone, and their Snapple, and it was gone, and sticking Howie's pin up his nose and out his mouth, and it was totally crazy, and the judges were amazed, and so was I. So amazed, in fact, that I'm now cyber stalking Smoothini. I found his Facebook fan page and I hit that like button. I think you're awesome, Smoothini, and I even wrote you a good luck message on your Facebook page. So I hope you make it far. I hope you win AGT, and if not, you definitely need to be doing something like on TV or something, because you are awesome and I would pay to see you. We close out the show with Justin. This was kind of a sentimental moment because Justin is a singer and a piano player. He sang an Avicii song and he has a really unique sound. But what made his story interesting was that he'd had some trouble in the past with drugs and alcohol, and his dad was actually in the audience, and this was his dad's very first time seeing his son perform. And it was really emotional for the dad. The dad was crying the whole time. It was emotional for the audience, and it was really touching for the judges. And Justin just kind of had that whole package. Nice looking, unique voice, could play the piano as well as sing. And I think he's going to make it far. Maybe not necessarily winning AGT, but I see a lot of stardom in his future. Okay, so we had a great time tonight on Beamly, which if you don't know about Beamly yet, have you been living under a rock? Beamly is a super cool free app, and if you're a fan of a show, you can go to Beamly while the show's on live and talk to other fans of the show. So I was chatting with all the fans of America's Got Talent, which I do every week. I'm putting that link down below so you can totally join me next week if you haven't joined me before. And we pretty much agreed on who was awesome. We all like Smoothini, and we all like Justin, and we agreed that Diverse was the big thumbs down. So I hope to see you guys next week on Beamly as we chat about AGT. And if you like TV show reviews and America's Got Talent, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of my reviews here on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for watching and have a great night.